Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, supply chain issues aren't getting any better, and now they're making it difficult for Oxford schools to feed their students. We'll take you inside the cafeterias at our local schools to find out how they're getting by.
The temperatures are quickly dropping and winter is on its way. We'll tell you how to prepare your home and vehicles for the cold months ahead.
And another federal vaccine mandate is in effect. This time it's aimed at private businesses. We'll break down the latest mandate straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I am Juliana Jackson.
And I'm Leah Blevins. Supply chain issues haven't gotten any easier for the nutrition staffs at Oxford and Lafayette County school districts. Now they're having to resort to untraditional sources to get enough food to feed their students. NewsWatch reporter Isabella Shelton went to the schools to find out how they're making do.
Menu changes, late deliveries, and food runs are some of the ways schools in Oxford are dealing with food supply shortages. Lafayette County School Food Service Director Mark Davis says they knew the shortages were coming.
By knowing that it was coming, we started getting our commodities in, as many as we could, for the storage space that we had.
But even this was not enough to solve the problem. Davis says the school has not had a frozen foods delivery in 3 weeks. And even when supplies are delivered, they don't know what they are getting.
We may put something on the menu and then we're waiting for the truck to come in, and the truck doesn't come in, and we don't know what's coming. So it's like you're ordering blind. You're ordering to order, hoping that it comes in. If it doesn't come in, then you have to make adjustments. So all the cafeteria, all my managers have been real good about making adjustments.
Lafayette High School kitchen manager says these shortages have made it difficult to feed over 400 students daily.
It is very stressful, very stressful. At first, when we was first dealing with it, I would end up with stress headaches, but now that I've gotten used to dealing with it, the headaches are gone. So.
Director of Child Nutrition at Della Davidson, Dan Westmoreland, says they can't offer nutritious and allergy-friendly foods for children and have struggled to get basic foods such as chicken.
Chicken was a real problem for us because it's a mainstay for us because it's nutritious. And there are a lot of kids that have allergies for things. Chicken's not an issue, so we, from what I've been told by the people at the state, that we've lost some of our chicken vendors, literally went out of business.
Although feeding students has been a struggle, the schools are trying to do their best to provide students with balanced meals.
Well, we know parents are looking at the menu ahead of time and try to plan their week, so that's probably been the biggest challenge, is really being able to keep things as calm as we can and have things planned.
Our students seem to be, very patient with us, and they're not giving us a hard time.
With nationwide supply shortages, Oxford schools are feeling the heat and getting out of the kitchen to feed their hungry students. NewsWatch Ole Miss, Isabella Shelton.
Westmoreland also said that while his schools will need another shipment of food within the next week, he can't count on the truck to deliver it for up to 3 weeks.
Despite the food shortage, Oxford High School's new culinary arts program is thriving in just its second year. NewsWatch reporter Caroline Helms went into the kitchen to learn more about the program.
This group of students at Oxford High School are spending part of their school day in the kitchen.
Able to cook with my friends, you really get to know everyone in the class.
Instead of eating the usual cafeteria food, Oxford High junior Alyssa Campbell and her classmates are enrolled in a culinary class and are preparing lunch their own way. On the menu today, soup, homemade bread, and cookies. Culinary arts instructor Brandon Hughes says his goal is to teach marketable skills that students can use in the future.
I tell them if it doesn't turn out, it's a learning experience, really. Because then next time they're like, oh, well, I could change this and change this.
The culinary class has been offered at Oxford High School for 2 years. Many students have enjoyed learning to make new fun meals and even competing in competitions.
First-year students learn the basic cooking skills such as chopping and cutting, while in the second year they prepare full meals and learn about foods from different cultures.
Now, we actually do stuff that's challenging. It's not like cutting and chopping things. We do stuff that's 4 people. We cook 4 people now.
Second-year culinary student Caden Owens says this experience has made him feel comfortable in the kitchen.
Mainly in confidence. In the kitchen, you're cooking and you don't have confidence with doing the things that like what you see chefs do.
The students in class also learn safety and health guidelines in the kitchen and are graded based on their presentation and critiqued on taste. Caroline Helms, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Hughes hopes that within the next few years, the program can become a capable catering service for Oxford High School events.
The Lafayette County School District Board has moved to reimburse all pre-K tuition payments for the 2021-2022 academic year. This decision comes after an anonymous donation of $175,000 to cover tuition for all pre-K students through the Mississippi State Tax Credit Initiative for Early Learning Collaboratives. If you would like to contribute to the LOU Learning Collaborative for this year, visit the LOU Reads website at loureads.org/donate. All donations must be made by December 31st to count for this year.
At Lafayette High School, administrations recently noticed a spike of uncharacteristic behavior among its students. NewsWatch reporter Rylan Hillis spoke with the principal to find out how the school cracked down on TikTok-inspired devious licks.
A new TikTok challenge called Devious Licks has taken hold of high schoolers across the nation. This trend challenges students each month to destroy school property or cause harm to teachers. And Principal Glenn Kitchens says Lafayette County High School has had their own run-in with this trend.
Our kids just haven't gone cuckoo by themselves. You know, there's something out there driving this socially from a perspective of social media.
This past challenge was to steal from teachers and vandalize the school. Principal Glenn Kitchens says that the biggest problem with this challenge was that students were ripping the soap dispensers from the wall and putting them in the toilet along with all the rolls of toilet paper.
It was pretty bad. I mean, the destruction was pretty severe.
While there were some who took part, many students, such as Emily Smith, were disappointed in what was happening.
And it was just like stupid that the kids who weren't doing that had to, suffer the consequences from the kids who were.
Teachers and staff did all they could to stop this challenge, including closing all but one bathroom. And after stopping this challenge, Kitchens says he took more precautions to prevent any further issues from happening.
Maybe remember at the beginning of each month to just kind of reiterate, this is not who our family is, and this is not who our school community is.
TikTok has also taken down the videos linked to the trend, so users cannot look it up and get more ideas. This is Rylan Hillis, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Kitchens said that he trusts his students to avoid any similar destructive viral trends in the future.
There could be some changes coming for your beloved private taxis and ride shares in Oxford. The Board of Aldermen is considering changes to the city's vehicle for hire ordinance that would lower the price of taxi permits and remove the current maximum $10 per person charge. Another proposal includes designated downtown pickup locations between the hours of 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. A second reading and public hearing regarding these proposed changes will be held at 5 p.m. on November 16th.
With Louisiana and surrounding states joining the sports betting game, all eyes are on Mississippi to see what the next move is for the state. Mississippi is one of 29 states who have not legalized mobile sports betting. However, the House Gaming Committee is coming up with a mobile betting app bill. This bill protects the investments made inside casinos in Mississippi. There is confidence there will be a bill ready for the House Gaming Committee by January 1st of 2022.
As the weather gets colder, it's about time to start thinking about making slight changes to your home and vehicles to keep them running smoothly. NewsWatch reporter Annabelle Kinney tells us how to prepare for the winter months.
Although fall is in full swing in Mississippi and temperatures are now drastically cooling down, it's never too early to start preparing your home for these colder months. The Oxford Fire Department is also gearing up for winter. Chief Deputy Andy Patton advises residents to be cautious of certain things that could go wrong.
Make sure you have an actual fireplace with a chimney. Make sure it's not gas logs. We have had problems in the past with people trying to burn stuff in gas logs. Well, there's no chimney, there's nowhere for the fire and smoke to escape, so you can imagine what happens.
As the temperatures go down, the chances of your pipes freezing goes up. Perhaps one of the most important things you can do to prepare your home for winter is let the faucet drip. If you know the temperature is going to be below 32 degrees, turn the faucet on slightly and let it drip a little. Water that is continuously flowing is less likely to freeze, and this simple trick can save you a lot of money and headaches. Even letting outside faucets drip can prevent freezing as well. Other helpful tips include insulating your attic and other areas to keep warm air inside, cleaning out gutters to prevent home deterioration in case of ice, and making sure everything is up to date with your hot water heater. Homes aren't the only thing to prepare for winter. It's also best to get your car serviced now. No one wants to break down in any season, but especially not in cold winters. Kenny's auto repair mechanic, Jared Rogers, knows all about vehicle safety in the wintertime.
Another good thing that would be good to have would be your wipers. A lot of people overlook wipers. You know, you go a while without using them, you turn them on, and then they don't work right. You want to make sure you have good wiper blades, so if you get stuck in a winter storm, you'll be good to go.
Other beneficial car maintenance tips include making sure your antifreeze levels are sufficient, getting an oil change, maintaining at least half a tank of gas in the winter, and most importantly, checking your car battery. Preparing your home and vehicle in advance will help keep you safe as the temperatures go down. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Annabelle Kinney.
And even though it's still fall, you should consider getting ahead on preparation for winter, especially with the recent temperatures.
Coming up, the trial for Ahmaud Arbery's murder starts tomorrow, and many are outraged following the official jury selection. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
In February of 2020, 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed while he was out for a jog in Georgia. Gregory McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and their neighbor William Bryan Jr. are charged with the murder. The trial begins tomorrow, but Arbery's family is already beginning to worry, as the jury selection is filled with 11 white men and only one African-American male. Prosecutors have already filed a motion accusing the defense team of discriminatory action in selecting the jury.
The most recent vaccine mandate puts a choice before over 100 million American workers: get vaccinated, subject themselves to weekly coronavirus tests, or lose their jobs. And the clock is ticking on their time to decide. CNN's Chris Wynn has everything you need to know about the mandate.
In the fight against COVID-19, the Biden administration announcing Thursday large companies across the country now have until January 4th to ensure that their employees are fully vaccinated.
We know the most disruptive thing in a workforce is to have a COVID outbreak.
The sweeping new health measure covers 84 million private sector workers and applies to businesses with 100 or more employees. OSHA says companies should provide paid time off for employees to get vaccinated, as well as sick leave for side effects. Workers who are not vaccinated by then must get weekly testing.
We know that vaccines absolutely save lives, and we know that mandates work.
Federal contractors, as well as 17 million workers at healthcare facilities that receive either Medicare or Medicaid funding, are also now required to meet the same January 4th deadline. The plan, which was first announced in September by President Biden, directed the Labor Department to invoke its emergency powers over workplace safety. But critics say it could further impact labor shortages and supply chain issues.
And these job ultimatums, I think, can only move the economy in a much worse direction.
President Biden pushing back on concerns in a statement saying in part, there have been no mass firings and worker shortages because of vaccine requirements. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
The new mandate comes at a time when vaccine mandates across the country are seeing increasing hostility. But health officials are moving forward in a push to bring an end to the pandemic as cases drop.
With the discussion of vaccinations rising with the upcoming holiday season, parents with young children across the United States are wondering what the timeline will look like for their child to be fully vaccinated by the end of the year for holiday family gatherings. Children ages 5 to 11 years old are not considered fully vaccinated until 2 weeks after their second dose. The deadline most families are discussing to be fully vaccinated to have a normal holiday season is November 19th for the first dose and December 10th for the second dose.
Joseph Maldonado Passage, better known as Joe Exotic, says he has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. The Tiger King is currently in prison after being convicted in a murder-for-hire plot involving his longtime rival, Carol Baskin. Joe's attorney says he has been undergoing medical treatment and tests for a host of issues. This comes just weeks after Netflix announced that the fan-favorite Tiger King series will return for a second season.
Coming up in sports, Matt Corral's talent continues to earn him national attention. His golden arm currently has him in the running for another big honor. Find out what Coach O has to say about who she needs to step up going into this year's season. That and more up next in sports.
I surrender.
All right, pal.
Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's up?
Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
Sunshine through today with seasonal temperatures. We should reach our normal high of about 82 degrees by this afternoon. Clear skies tonight with a low of 70.
There's an epidemic spreading. Scientists say it can change your brain. It can release dangerous chemicals like formaldehyde into your bloodstream. It can expose your lungs to acrolein, which can cause irreversible damage. It's not a parasite, not a virus, not an infection. It's vaping.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
As the COVID-19 vaccines become available, you might be asking yourself, should I get it? And if I do, will I be able to go about life without putting my family at risk? You've got questions, and that's normal. The fact is, the vaccines are safe and effective. They're going to save lives. To get the latest on the COVID-19 vaccines, visit getvaccineanswers.org, because getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed. It's up to you.
Coach Yo had a lot to say in her press conference yesterday. She has plenty of top-notch talent on her roster this season, which means high expectations for Ole Miss women's basketball. However, there isn't just one player that has to carry the weight alone. Each and every player is expected to step up and do their part on and off the court this season.
Every player that we have, we need them to bring something to the table. They all have to do their part, which I think should be better for them because they don't have to feel the pressure just on them solely. You know, if everyone kind of chips in, we'll get where we want to go, especially from scoring from the wing position.
Coach Yo is interested to see what happens next Thursday as the women's team is tested from early on against the Belmont Bruins, a team that is coming off a second-round loss in the NCAA tournament last season. The Rebels will tip off on November 11th at 7 p.m. in the Pavilion. It should be no surprise that our very own Heisman candidate is up for yet another award. Quarterback Matt Corral has earned a spot on the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award Top 10 watch list. Corral has completed 66% of his passes for 2,203 yards and 15 touchdowns, along with just 2 interceptions. He also leads the Rebels on the ground with 519 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. He's a two-dimensional threat to any team with his ability to throw as well as use his legs. His 10 rushing touchdowns are the most by any Rebel quarterback in a single season, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down. He's in great company with the last 3 SEC players to tally 15 passing touchdowns through the first 8 games of the season, being Dak Prescott, Johnny Manziel, and Tim Tebow. The trophy will be presented at the Golden Arm Award banquet in Baltimore, Maryland on Friday, December 10th. The accolades continue for the Rebels as Ole Miss linebacker and former walk-on Mark Robinson was named one of 88 nominees for the 2021 Burlsworth Trophy on Tuesday. The award is given to the most outstanding football player in America who began his career as a walk-on and has shown exceptional performance on the field. In award-winning fashion, Robinson had a career-high night at Tennessee earlier this year with 14 total tackles, 12 solo stops, 5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. Robinson transferred to Ole Miss as a walk-on running back from Southeast Missouri but had to sit out last season due to NCAA transfer guidelines. He made the switch to the defensive side of the ball at the end of fall camp last season and has now started 5 games at linebacker for the Rebs, where in his new position he is 3rd on the team with 61 total tackles, including 6 tackles for loss. In postseason news, the number 21 Ole Miss soccer team is set to take on number 10 Tennessee today at 7:30 in the SEC tournament semifinals. Previously this year, these two teams met, but the Vols got the upper hand with a 2-0 victory over the Rebs. Make sure to tune in tonight on SEC Network to help cheer Ole Miss on to the finals. Finishing up on the court, the Ole Miss men's tennis team will compete in 3 days of matchups at the GT Invite as they wrap up their fall season. The event will start on Friday and end on Sunday, and it will be held at Georgia Tech's Ken Byers Tennis Complex in Atlanta. The Rebels will enter the tournament with a combined record of 35-20 in singles and 11-5 in doubles. Auburn, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and Mississippi State are the other teams attending this tournament, and it will be available to watch all weekend on the Georgia Tech website. And that's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Ruby. And coming up next on NewsWatch Ole Miss, a shipwreck rescue story you don't want to miss. Stay tuned after the break.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is blue, I'll be looking at the moon, and I'll be seeing you. I'll be looking at the moon, and I'll be seeing you.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Fido found his way home thanks to some help from the U.S. Coast Guard on Tuesday in Alaska.
The 8-month-old, 80-pound pit bull black mix was missing for nearly 2 days after its owner's vessel ran aground. The puppy was located on a cliffside in a Kodiak and reunited with its owner.
What a heartwarming story on this chilly, chilly day. I simply could not believe it when I left the house.
Maybe we should all take a vacation to Alaska and go find some Fidos.
I can barely handle Mississippi temperatures. I don't think I'm ready for Alaska weather.
True. I relate to that. That's all for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Leah Blevins.
And I am Juliana Jackson. Be sure to follow us on all social media at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest updates on the Ole Miss Oxford community.
Thank you and good night.